up, guys? It's the WWTD episode for the week. Sorry, I'm a little late on getting this out. Turned down the fan here in the van so you can hear me. But we had quite an eventful week. First few days of this week, we were filming with a production company for hopefully a real estate show coming to a cable network near you soon. Won't tell you which network yet because I don't know. But I'm hoping that one of them has the balls to put a show that's a little different, but has the potential to be a big hit on their network. So we'll see. Keep you posted. But either way, 3 days of shooting is a lot of shooting. So I'm happy to be done with that, but I think it all turned out great. Now, what I want to talk about this week, I've got my helpers with me in the car there. There's Lola. There's George. Hi, George. Say hi. Out running my dogs this morning. But what I want to talk about this week is something I'm going to talk about in the audio podcast as well in a little more detail. But it's all about adapting your business. I see a lot of people, since this is a WWTD, is what would I do, right? So I see a lot of people talking about the fact that they're having trouble with their response rates. They send out 5,000, let's say, postcards. They get 2 calls, they get no deals, or they get 4 calls, they get no deals, whatever it is. The amount of calls, the amount of deals that you're getting are very, very slim for your marketing efforts. And you know, there's a reason for that. I've talked about it a bunch, but it seems like sometimes people hear it, sometimes people don't. Right now, we're at a very, very hot time in the real estate cycle. You know, real estate's hot. Real estate's easy to sell. You can sell a weird house on a busy road very easily on the retail market right now compared to what it would be if it was a cooler market. It's way easier. So, you know, you've got that. You've also got the fact that everybody and their mother is, you know, jousting for people's attention that have a house to sell, whether it be realtor, investor, whatever. So you have to adapt your business. You have to understand that the world is changing. That's not to say that direct mail doesn't work, because it absolutely does work. But you have to adapt to the additional tools that you can use nowadays in order to help get people's attention, to help make them comfortable with you and your company. You know, the days of Joe Homebuyer, you know, postcard going out and, you know, making a hugely successful business off of just sending a random unbranded postcard inconsistently and in large quantities. When you do send it, probably not going to give you the traction that you need to build an actual business out of this. So you really need to think about the tools that are available these days to kind of reinforce your marketing efforts. You know, just having one thing that you do, you can do it, but you got to do it really well, and you got to do a whole shitload of it. But what I would suggest is doing something really well, doing a lot of it, and then building in a supporting cast of other marketing type things or strategies that kind of support it. So, for example, last week we talked about IP marketing. Huge thing. You know, there's a lot of things you can do with IP marketing in terms of not only the list that you can then market to using their IP address like we talked about last week. There's new technology now where you can get anybody that comes to your website, and you can store those people, reverse IP address those people, and then market them. So if you send out marketing and that maybe you aren't in doing the IP search like we talked about last week, which you should, but if you're not, you know, there's technology that if those people go visit your website, you can store that information and you can reverse IP market those people as well. So think about everything that's out there these days, or get to know everything that's out there these days in terms of supporting cast to support your marketing efforts. Facebook is huge. You can do a lot of things with Facebook ads these days, folks. If you can get somebody's email address, you can market specifically to those people with the type of ads that you want them to see, which means your ad spend is very pinpointed. So you don't have a lot of fat in your ad budget there. So think about that. There's a lot of ways that you can do that. I'll talk about it more in this week's audio podcast. But really think about growing your business, adapting your business to this new world that we live in of technology. It's not 2004, you know, and back then anybody that just sent out yellow letters or yellow postcards did all right. You know, you can still send a whole ton of direct mail and do okay, but you got to send a lot, and you got to be really consistent. But I would suggest doing that in addition to some of the other strategies that you can kind of look at as supporting cast to help build brand awareness and get your brand out there and be in front of people on many different levels. So when the time comes that they want to sell, when they're getting bombarded by other investors and realtors who are trying to buy the listing, you know, basically everybody and their mother wants to either list your property or buy it these days based on where we are in the real estate cycle. So you have to be aware of those things. You have to look to implement those things in your business. So, like I said, I'll talk about it more on this week's audio podcast, but I think it's an important point. I think it's something that if you guys want to sustain in this business and you want to last, you really need to change with the times and adapt your business to the technology that we have at our fingertips that can really help you grow it. So, that's this week's WWTD. Signing off. There's my co-pilots this week. As I always say, I may not walk on water, but I do walk on my own job sites. See you guys next week.